in something called homology, which is the study of mind and body awareness. And a lot of that had happened because, like everyone, how many people are anxious in this wonderful world that we live in today? Well, I think I realized that, I don't know if I top anxiety, but I think just like therapists go into therapy because they have issues, I think I went into meditation teaching because it was just so much coming at me. And that's all good up until it started affecting my body, and then all of a sudden it was like I wasn't gonna get in an older state and have my body not move the way I wanted it. So a lot of the techniques that I'm gonna share with you today, and as we continue going through the different sessions, are really amazing when you start learning how to be in the present moment. And one of the most powerful things that I had mentioned when I was talking last time was to be where your body is. So as we got here, everyone was really great. They got here early, but it's still Florida drivers. There's still different things that we have to be, or we may have things that we have to run to, or we may have left things incomplete. So right now you're at Hagen Ranch, you're in this beautiful conference center, and so my request is just to be where you are. And a lot of times we don't do that. We're always like multitasking and we forget that we're here right now. So just some of the little things that I'll throw at you to really start appreciating what being aware and being in the present moment is about. So I had shared last time, and unfortunately my husband passed away. It's going to be a year next week, and that's been an interesting journey. One of the things before he got sick we had both said is that we wanted to make a contribution to our community. We had just moved up here, it's about 3 years now. And I just want to carry the fact that I'm even willing to do this, and, you know, like step over a lot of my own mind chatter, is to kind of live his legacy or add to the legacy. But one of the things that I really was starting to think about, which is pretty incredible, like when you look at the power of what you can do when you are in the present moment, or if you're mind aware, body aware. So my husband had a botched open heart surgery that led to him having a lot of stuff which I won't get into, but he wound up being on a trach, and I never even thought anything other than he had to do this to live and that he would come off it. And a lot of people didn't think that that was going to happen. But it did happen after several months. But I would sit there and meditate with him. He meditated also. And I swear that kept on having him just be present with all the stuff that was going around. And I was probably the only one that wasn't surprised when his trach was removed, because it was just, to me, like being in the present moment, doing whatever we need to do. Unfortunately, I got from this TV show that I'm obsessed with called Persons of Interest. And I love watching it because they always save everyone and everyone lives, except for when they don't. And one of the characters asked, and it was really like mind-boggling to me, but one of the other characters said, "You're not God. I'm not God. We're not God." And I thought, okay, well, you know, we can do what we can do here on this planet as humans, and then we just have to let it go. But the reason I even put this up, and last time I talked about the particular mudra he had, it was the ahimsa. When he passed, he's not, I mean, he meditated, but he doesn't know yoga mudras and stuff. And when he passed, that's not his fingers, but the particular movement of his hands was in this ahimsa. And I was like, there was something so profound that I actually took a picture of it because there was something very spiritual about it. And then my sister said, "That looks like a mudra," and I didn't even know what mudras were. It wasn't where I was thinking. But I looked up the mudra, and the mudra was letting go of ego, humility, and at peace. And I'm thinking, drop the mic, you know, like I didn't want him to go, but how could I question that? I mean, there was such an amazing answer of his passing. And he had another thing with his hand, but I didn't even think about it at the time because it was just strange. But it was also on the level, like he was trying to tell us something. So again, who am I to say, or in our journey, you know, what is right and wrong? And that's what we're gonna actually talk about a little bit later in specifically the 5 causes of the busy mind. But before we go there, I know a lot of people were here, and even though you were here last time, may not be something you would remember, but it's really important. It's like an anchor to a lot of the work we do, and there's a lot of things to remember today, but if you take this away, it's a building of a foundation. And actually when I led the mindful meandering tours, that's how I started too. Like, each person would take that, because everyone's different and they have their own path and their own way that they're gonna be present. What would that be? So if I had a magic wand, and I would say to you, if you could have anything you want for yourself in your life, what would that be?
Probably have my husband back.
Okay. And if that, like, what would that get you, like, going a little deeper, like, in terms of, like, an inner experience?
Just added companionship.
Okay, so companionship, and then even with companionship, what would having companionship get you?
Security.
Okay, so security. So that would be, so just think, hold that thought. So security, you see how, like, sometimes it's all good that we want those things, but it's the inner dive that really gets us. Anyone else? Elaine, like, if you had a magic wand and you could have anything you want, what would that be for your life? What would you ask for?
Good health.
Good health, definitely. And that is could be anything, can come anywhere. Security could be anything, can come anywhere. And so those are what I call inner experiences. Anyone else want to share, just to kind of see if they're on the right track with what's important to them, if they had that magic wand? Okay. So for me, it's funny, I was thinking about, for me it's peace. And I love this because, like, I even encourage you, especially because we live in Florida, we could go to the beach, and then when I was doing something with rocks, I put compassion